Have you ever come across a chart that looks more like a tangled mess than something informative? Well, you're not alone. I see charts like this all the time from clients and workshop participants. This line chart, also known as a spaghetti chart, is a perfect example. Our eyes are constantly jumping between the messy lines and the legend at the bottom, trying to decode the data and identify trends. But honestly, who has the patience for that? Usually we'd add data labels to help make sense of the chart, but here it just makes things even worse. Instead of clarity, we end up with overlapping labels and our audience is more likely to give up entirely. So how do we fix this? Let's scroll down. Introducing small multiples. By breaking down this spaghetti chart into small multiples, we give each category or issue its own mini line chart. Everything is still to scale, so there's no misleading information, and now it's much easier to compare between categories. And the best part, it is all done in Excel. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Move this over. So let's jump back to our data. You can see we've got major influences of project delay. We've got our 4 issues here and the values mapped over the 7 years. So if we highlighted all that and went to line chart, we would get something like this first chart here. But we need to transpose the data and set it out differently before we build our chart. The way we do that is we need to set it out vertically. So we've got our issue, we've got our year and our value. Pop my grid lines on so you can see the spaces. When we've got our first issue up here, it needs to be on its own line. Then we've got our year and our values following. Again, space afterwards, then our second category or issues, stakeholder and community pressure on its own line, our years and our values mapped after that. If you don't know how to transpose data, all you do is copy row by row, right click, copy, come down to where you want to paste it. In that cell, right click, paste special, transpose. Okay, so once we have done that, let's let's select all our data, go to insert, go up to your line chart here, pick the first one, and there we go. It's already starting to take shape. We can make it a little bit wider and longer if we'd like. Okay, I'll get rid of that heading because we will change that later. Okay, the first thing, let's change the line color. So click on the line, go up to your format menu. Usually we'd go for shape fill, but this is a line chart, so there's no shape fill. We need shape outline. Click on that, select your color. I've selected blue, which is already made it look a lot better. Then let's add the markers in. So we will right click, format data series, go up to the paint bucket and look for marker, marker options, built-in, circle, size 5, solid fill, pick your same color and don't worry about a border. Great, now let's add data labels in. So click, right click, add data labels, click, right click, format data labels. Instead of on the right, let's put them above, but there's still a lot of labels there. It's still looking quite messy. So what have I done above? I've just selected the first and the last ones and deleted all the other ones. So click once, it highlights all the data labels. Click twice, it isolates to that one data label. And just click and delete. Oop. Here we go. So you can repeat that for the other 2 lines. Then you can make them blue and bold. And that looks a lot better. The last thing is the grid lines. Let's format those. So click on the y-axis, right click, format axis, 0 to, I'm going to do 0.4, so 40%, and our units, instead of 0.5, I'll make them 0.1. So that's looking better. Down here to number, let's change it to percentage with no decimal places. Perfect. So it is already starting to take shape. So now we've got our small multiple line chart. But if you're not a fan of line charts and you want to display the data in a different way, you've got some other options. So all you need to do is right click, change chart type, and pick whichever one you like. So here are a few other ones. I've done an area chart here with the blue, which looks really good. It gives the chart a little bit more visual weight. Down here, I've done a small multiple bar chart. So again, same thing, right click, change chart type, and I've gone to the first 2D column. And displaying it this way has let us add the data labels in without making it look too messy. So I really like this option as well. Then we can add data storytelling. So pick out an interesting element. Maybe it's the project funding. Although it has seen a slight decline since 2017, project funding is still a major issue in project delay. So I've pushed everything to the back using grey, and I've just highlighted project funding in the blue. Maybe a different issue. Planning issues have slowly been rising to become the #1 influence in project delay in 2023. Again, same thing, pushed everything to the back using grey, and I've highlighted that story in purple. So there you have it. That is how you create data labels, small multiple line charts in Excel. And you can see the difference between the first and the last one. I hope you found that informative. Please let me know if you've got any questions in the comments.